Okay, guys, this is a boring one, but very important. If you're in land or you're doing any sort of direct to seller marketing, listen here for 5 minutes. So, I talk to a lot of people that will mail and call somewhere and then think, okay, it's done. That's that's not how it works. So, pretty much any part of the country, especially in the Southeast, these people have all been mailed and called before, right? It's just a matter of being in front of people when they are ready to sell. So there are places we have mailed 20 plus times and still get deals. We'll call over and over again, and not just the same leads, every 6 months, but even in every given batch, we call the leads multiple times and we continue to get new leads and new people answering. Now, as you're doing this, make sure anyone who's hostile or really wants to be taken off gets marked as do not call and do not mail. But assuming you're doing that, this is a great way to continually get deals in a given market. I've been in this market for years. And so this is how I track things personally. I have it divided into the different parts of the market. This corresponds to the search on PropStream. So in my save searches, I can just search that area, and that way it's exactly the same place every time and same set of properties. And I have the last time I mailed them, the next time I'm going to mail them, the last time I called them, and the next time I'm going to call them for each set of data. The local owners, we have not had a ton of success with them. Sometimes we do, but or so I have not pursued them yet here, stuck with just out of state, out of county. But, anyways, that aside, every 4 to 6 months, depending on how well a market's producing, we will mail and we will call them. I do different iterations of the same mailers. When spring comes around, I'll throw in a property tax mailer, but nonetheless, we get deals over and over and over again, even in the same areas. And again, when we're calling, my guys will call through the data several times. Again, make sure you're marking people do not call who don't want to be called. But I can't emphasize this enough because even in my own business, I'm reminded of this. In some of the markets we're in Florida, especially, prices have just kept going up so much that we can go back through them. We just got a deal under contract this week in one of the most competitive markets in Florida where certain types of lots have gone up 40% this year. And so we went back through, and now we can pay what people want for some of them and still get deals. And so make sure you're doing this in some capacity, track it, and mail and call the areas that are producing on a consistent iteration. And then you never know, you'll have someone call and say, hey, I saved 3 of your postcards these last couple years. Uh, I'm ready to sell, and I like your messaging, or it seems like you're legitimate because you've been in business for a while, right? It's not mail someone once and oh, they didn't want to sell. That's that. That's not how the business works. It's just like any direct to seller marketing business where you just keep mailing your audience, your avatar. Now, if somewhere's not producing or sales are stagnant, there's other reasons you might not do this. But for markets that are producing, absolutely do this. I'll finish this short video with a simple anecdote. Last year, there was a market, the one I build in Pueblo West, where I sent the mailers to actually, the number was my number. And so I was doing some acquisitions for the first time in a while. And I had mailed that market, I think 23, 24 times the last 5 years. So many, many times. Everyone had seen Front Range Land mailers over and over and over again. And a lady calls in. I'd never spoken to her. None of my acquisition managers had spoken to her. Never had a lead on that property. And yeah, she says, "Yeah, I think I'm ready to sell, and it's not a great area, so I'll sell it for 8,000." She said that she volunteered all that information. I was willing to pay like 15, and so we bought it at 8,000. And that was in a market where she had gotten dozens of mailers and some cold calls over the years from us. Yet that, for whatever reason, was the time that she was ready to sell, got our mail and called and sold it at $8,000, and we sold it at 27. So this is really important. If you're new to the business, it's a long-term game. You're not gonna, well, you might get lucky and get some deals right off the bat, but generally speaking, you have to consistently iterate in the markets that work over the long term to get deals. And this is how I go about doing it. So fairly simple, not exciting, but This is how you make money in land or direct to seller marketing in general.